Oh, we're live. Hey, okay, there we go. Just in case there's a little bit of a delay, I am just going to talk for a few seconds and then we start. So, good evening, everybody. I think 10 seconds in, we're pretty safe. Live Long and Podcast is proud to present to you for the fourth time this year Star Trek's Radio Theater here Friday Night Live. So tonight, our podcasters will be reenacting one of, well, maybe not our favorite Star Trek script, but the one that came out on the spin wheel in this case. And we landed on Voyager, season 1, episode 5, which is known as Phage. This is an episode where Neelix gets his lungs stolen by the Vidians, and the Doctor has to save him, and Janeway has to get them back. First introduction of the Vidians in the Star Trek universe, and as just as a reminder, these reads are for fun. They're done with the most sincere fan appreciation for the source material, and the performances are artistic reinterpretations, reimaginings, if you will, and not necessarily not faithful necessarily to the original actor, although the performer can choose to try to bring that to their performance if they want to. So with no further ado, we will begin our performance of Phage. All right.
Are we ready?
We're ready.
All right. Fade into USS Voyager flying in space as we hear Captain Janeway in a voiceover.
Captain's log, stardate 48532.4. We're on our way to a rogue planetoid, which Mr. Neelix tells us is an extremely rich source of raw dilithium. If he's right, this could go a long way towards easing our power shortage.
Interior corridor. Focus on Janeway and Chakotay as they walk down the corridor discussing their plans for the ship.
Assuming we do find dilithium on this planetoid, we're going to need a refining facility on the ship to process it.
Lieutenant Torres has already asked permission to start modifications to the auxiliary impulse reactor. It could be converted into a crude dilithium refinery.
The impulse reactor? Sometimes I think B'Elanna goes out of her way to find solutions that ignore Starfleet procedures.
Her arguments are quite convincing. She thinks it can be done safely.
I'm sure it can. Tell her I want regular reports on her progress every step of the way. Are you sure you won't join me for breakfast? I was thinking Eggs Benedict, asparagus, strawberries, and cream.
Eh.
I was thinking about it. I'm actually having ration pack number 5, stewed tomatoes with dehydrated eggs.
Sounds delicious. But I've already had my vacuum-packed oatmeal this morning.
I'll see you on the bridge.
We focus on the mess hall, kitchen. Captain Janeway walks through the door into a steam-filled room and her jaw drops open. Neelix has a pair of large pans sizzling away on blazing braziers. He seasons the contents, then puts some food onto a metal tray and hands it to a crewman across the counter.
Hope you enjoy it.
What's going on here?
Captain, you caught me by surprise.
I could say the same thing. What are you doing?
We move along the kitchen as Neelix continues to season and taste various dishes, with Janeway looking flabbergasted by what's going on around her.
Well, I know how you and the senior officers have been, disappointed with the rations lately. So I thought a few of the vegetables from the hydroponics bay and whip up a little breakfast.
Turn this into a valley?
It wasn't easy. I had to completely reroute the mess hall power conduits and scrounge a lot of supplies from all over the ship. But that's my specialty, making something out of nothing. I know it doesn't look like much now, but in a few days you'll swear that this galley's been here for years.
Neelix continues to put spoonfuls of food onto another tray and hands it over to another crewman.
Be careful. That one's a little spicy.
Neelix, who approved this?
Janeway grabs Neelix by the arm, looking angry, as a fire blazes up in the background. Neelix moves off to smother the flame with a towel while trying to explain himself to the captain.
Well, no one.
Well, you might have asked me first. This used to be my private dining room.
Your private dining room?
If you had checked the ship's directory, you would have noticed that cabin 125 Alpha Deck 2 is designated as the captain's private dining room.
Then I guess you'll be wanting me to move all of this stuff out of your way.
Bridge to Captain Janeway.
Go ahead.
We're approaching the rogue planetoid, Captain.
On my way. If you want to come with me, we'll deal with this later.
Ensign Parsons, would you mind keeping an eye on things until I get back and rotate the Darvot fritters every 10 minutes until they turn a deep chartreuse? And remember, 1 to a customer.
Interior bridge. Ensign Kim is at his station as Captain Janeway and Neelix enter the bridge.
What have you found?
We're picking up the definite dilithium signatures, Captain. The strongest readings are originating from 10 to 20 kilometers inside the planetoid.
B'Elanna responds.
It also looks like there's a series of subterranean caves with an oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere.
Plus, it'll make mining a lot easier if we can go in there without environmental suits.
How much dilithium are we talking about? It's hard to get a precise reading. It could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 metric tons.
Just as I said, I bet there are a few Yalitation engineers who'd give all 3 of their spinal columns to know where this planet is.
Commander, take an away team down to those caves and do a preliminary geological analysis. Lieutenant, you'd better get your dilithium refinery online. It'll be ready to go in 3 days.
Ensign Kim.
Neelix begins to leave the bridge, intent on joining Chakotay and the rest of the away team.
Whoa. Where are you going?
With you. I've been studying my tricorder operations manual. Lieutenant Torres has brought me up to date on dilithium geophysics. I've been preparing for this mission all week.
Neelix looks to the captain, who is sitting in her chair. She thinks for a minute before giving Neelix her approval.
Very well, Mr. Neelix.
I think you'll find me extremely helpful, Commander. I remember this first time I flew past this planet. It was about 3 years ago.
Neelix, Chakotay, and Kim all enter the turbo lift, and we focus on Janeway, who smiles to herself and gives a little shake of her head. Chakotay and Kim don't seem overly pleased.
Deck 4.
Cut to the planet's surface as Chakotay, Neelix, and Kim enter a cavern, using their tricorders to scan the rock face.
It looks like there are several large deposits in the general vicinity. Let's split up and begin taking geological scans. Keep your comms channels open at all times and don't wander too far. Stay within a 50-meter radius of this position.
The away team all head off into different tunnels. We see Neelix as he continues scanning the rock in the tunnel he has entered. He doesn't notice as the rock face behind him transforms into a constructed corridor with pipes along the wall. A humanoid enters the corridor with something in his hands that we can't quite see. Fade out.
Dun, dun,
Fade
dun.
into Chakotay on the planet's surface, still scanning his tunnel with his tricorder.
Chakotay to Kim.
Go ahead.
I'm still picking up dilithium signatures, but there is no dilithium formations here. Have you found anything yet?
Focus on Kim in his tunnel, concentrating on one rock in particular.
I'm running a geostratal analysis of the rock in the vicinity. So far, there is no indication of any dilithium.
Keep looking.
Focus on Neelix in tunnel number 3.
Neelix to Commander Chakotay.
Go ahead.
I think I've found something. A large cavern approximately 20 meters from my position. I'm reading a huge dilithium formation there.
Don't go any further, Neelix. Stay within the search radius. I'll be with you in a minute.
But it's right here.
Neelix enters the cavern, clearly not listening to the commander's order. He seems confused by the empty cave he has entered.
I'm in the cavern now, Commander, but I don't understand this.
Let me guess. Nothing here.
Not so much as a sliver of dilithium, and yet my readings say I should be surrounded by it.
All right. I've had enough of this. Kim, Neelix, we're heading back to the ship. Rendezvous at the...
As Neelix tricorder beeps new readings, he interrupts Chakotay, moving deeper into the cave to check things out.
Wait a minute. I'm getting unusual readings from this rock face. Traces of organic energy. Looks like a bioelectrical signal. I think there's something alive down here. It's about 2 meters into this rock face.
Neelix, I said get back here.
Neelix, still ignoring the commander's orders, continues to move deeper into the cave.
Neelix, did you hear what I said?
Just 1 minute, Commander.
The rock face behind Neelix transforms into a corridor like the one we saw earlier. A figure sees Neelix and hides. Neelix turns and sees the corridor.
Hello? Is there anyone there? Hello? I know there's somebody.
The humanoid figure is now behind Neelix. As Neelix senses the presence and turns, the figure zaps him with an energy weapon.
Oh!
Neelix screams out. We focus back on Chakotay, who now realizes Neelix is in trouble.
Neelix, what's wrong? Neelix! Kim!
On my way, sir.
Chakotay and Kim run into the cave Neelix was exploring and find him writhing in pain on the ground. Chakotay grabs Neelix to check him over.
I can't be certain, but I think he's going into shock. Chakotay, the Voyager. Medical emergency. Beam us directly to sickbay.
Interior sickbay. Neelix, Chakotay, and Kim materialize as the doctor comes rushing over. Kim and Chakotay hold a convulsing Neelix down on the biobed while the doctor scans him.
Get the blood gas infuser.
The what?
Equipment storage unit 2. Second left shelf on the left. Now! Hold him still!
Chakotay runs off to grab the equipment while the doctor tranquilizes Neelix.
What's happening, Doctor?
He's going into a coma.
Chakotay returns with a small circular device and hands it to the doctor, who places it on Neelix's forehead.
The infuser will keep his oxygen levels stable for the next hour or so, but after, he'll die. His lungs have been removed.
Interior sickbay. Clearly sometime later. Tom Paris moves the monitor through sickbay as Chakotay brings Captain Janeway, who looks concerned, up to speed.
By the time we got to him, he was unconscious.
How could anyone remove his organs so quickly?
Doctor says whoever did this used some kind of transporter to beam his lungs directly out of his body.
Kess enters.
What happened?
It appears that Neelix was attacked. We don't know how it happened, but someone has surgically removed his lungs.
Kess rushes to Neelix's bedside as Janeway and Chakotay continue to talk.
Did you find any evidence of the life sign that Neelix reported?
No.
Captain, I've analyzed the sensor logs from Neelix's tricorder. The bioscanner
Picked up a single Class 3 humanoid organism.
The blood gas infuser will keep him alive another 47 minutes. The only chance for his survival I see at the moment is to get his own lungs back.
Can't we fit him with a pair of artificial lungs?
His respiratory system is directly linked to multiple points along his spinal column. It's too complex to replicate. I may be able to surgically reattach the organs if we get them back. In the meantime, I'll have to search for other options.
Commander, I'm taking an away team back to the planet. You're in charge until we return. Inform Mr. Tuvok I want 3 armed security detachments to accompany us. Issue Type 3 phasers.
Janeway, Chakotay, and Kim leave sickbay as the doctor and Paris continue to work on Neelix.
Mr. Paris, did they teach you how to run a respiratory series in your biochemistry classes at the academy?
No, I'm afraid they didn't.
Fine. I'll run it myself. Get me a pulmonary scanner.
The doctor turns to Kess.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
I'm not leaving.
All right. Just keep out of the way.
Cavern interior. Janeway, Kim, Tuvok, and a security officer are in the cavern, scanning it with their tricorders.
Here it is. This is where Neelix was standing when he was attacked. According to his tricorder log, he was scanning this rock face when he detected a life sign.
Neelix said there was a life sign 2 meters behind this wall, but my tricorder says nothing but solid rock for about 15 meters.
Sounds like our tricorders aren't giving us the real picture behind what's going on here.
Wait a minute, the rock is warmer here.
You're right, Captain. There's a 2-degree differential in this section of the wall.
Acknowledging the captain's readings, Tuvok can find no logical reason for the warmer section of the wall.
There are no natural geological phenomena that could be creating this heat source.
Let's make a little heat of our own.
The four line up in the cavern entrance and fire phasers at the rock face. The corridor appears and all four enter it, continuing to scan with tricorders.
There was a highly sophisticated force field in place.
There's a chamber down this corridor.
Interior sickbay. The doctor and Paris are busy checking Neelix's life support and other medical readings off of various panels, as a worried Kes is still huddled over Neelix's bed.
Doc, I think his cellular toxicity level is rising.
It's up to 32%. Let's see if we can stabilize those levels. Get me a cytoplasmic stimulator now.
We don't have one.
Then replicate one.
Uh-huh.
Paris hesitates and looks back to the doctor.
The design schematics on are the ships in the ship's medical database.
Right.
Paris leaves.
Oh, the man drives a 700,000-ton starship, so somebody thinks he'd make a good medic.
I can survive with one lung, can't I? What if I donated a lung to Neelix?
A transplant is not an option. No one on board is compatible match for his Talaxian physiology.
The doctor walks through sickbay and his office to where Paris is using the replicator.
We're going to need a completely new way to oxygenate his blood supply and relay neuroelectrical impulses. Our replicators can't produce compatible artificial organs for him, but maybe there's a way we can mimic their functions and give us direct control of his respiratory system. Computer, is there an identification matrix on Mr. Neelix from the last time he used the transporter?
Affirmative.
Transfer it to console 4.
Paris and the doctor rush back to the ward, and the doctor begins working on a console.
What are you doing?
I'm using the transporter matrix to get exact specifications for Neelix's lungs.
I thought you just said we can't replicate his lungs.
We can't! But if I can reconfigure my emitter array, I might be able to create a pair of holographic lungs for Mr. Neelix.
Holographic lungs?
If it's successful, we can precisely control his pulmonary functions to allow him normal breathing.
But a hologram is just a projection of light held in a magnetic containment field. There's no real matter involved.
The doctor slaps Paris across the face, who looks shocked and confused, and then presses several buttons on a wall console.
Now, you hit me.
Paris attempts to slap the doctor, but his hand goes right through the doctor's head.
The magnetic containment field that creates the illusion of my body can be modulated to allow matter to pass through it or be stopped. I might be able to modulate the same thing for the holographic lungs, allowing oxygen and carbon dioxide to pass from the lungs to the bloodstream.
I want to know what this means. What are you going to do to him?
There's no time to explain the exact procedure to you right now. Get out of my face.
Yeah, shut up, Kath.
You'll make the time. Because I'm not going to let you perform any experimental surgery on Neelix until I know exactly what you're doing and what the risks are.
The risk is that it won't work. And if it doesn't, he'll die. But if it is his only immediate chance for survival, if he does survive, he'll have to be held motionless in an isotropic restraint. The lungs need to be perfectly aligned to his internal physiology. The computer won't be able to compensate for any body movement whatsoever.
How long will he have to stay like that?
For the rest of his life. Unless the hololungs can be replaced by his internal organs, and he will never be able to leave the holographic environment of this room. The holographic lungs would disappear the moment he walked out the door.
Kes looks concerned and Paris comes over to comfort her.
Cass, I know it seems pretty grim, but it's better than losing him completely. This way, he'll still be alive. And maybe we can find a better solution somewhere down the road. What do you think Neelix would want? I'm not sure, but I do know that I want him to live.
Interior of unknown corridor. Tuvok leads the away team down a corridor that looks similar to the one they entered earlier. After a beat and a nod from Tuvok, Kim opens the door at the end and they enter some version of a sickbay with what appears to be a metal operating table and large jars holding tissue samples.
This room is the source of the dilithium signature we detected earlier. The power systems are here running on an unusual dilithium matrix.
So there's actually no dilithium deposits on the planet?
It would appear not.
Are these organs?
The away team walks around the room, scanning the various jars and storage containers.
This looks like some sort of storage facility.
I would say you are correct, Captain. This appears to be a biological repository.
Any sign of Neelix's lungs?
Negative. There is, however, a Kazon liver, and I cannot identify the other organs on display here. I would say they bear a striking similarity to pulmonary organs, epidermal tissue, ocular nerve fiber.
Save the cataloging for later. Tuvok, according to my tricorder, there was a life form in this room less than 10 minutes ago.
Captain!
Ensign Kim grabs the captain's attention to show her that he's found another door.
Open it. One life sign 20 meters ahead. Let's go.
The away team exits through the door and are now running down a tunnel of rocks like we saw earlier. Janeway and Tuvok turn a corner while Kim and the security officer head straight. Tuvok spots someone and shoots, forcing him to drop his weapon. They continue down the new tunnel and Janeway picks the weapon up. It is a curious two-pronged design. Their way is blocked by a rock face.
They have erected a force field with a rotating phase modulation. We will not be able to disrupt it.
Voyager to Captain Janeway.
Go ahead.
We have picked up an alien ship leaving the planet.
Tractor them, Commander.
Sorry, Captain. They just went into warp too quickly.
Beam us back. As soon as we're aboard, lay in a course for pursuit. Maximum warp.
Aye, Captain.
We cut to interior sickbay. Kes continues to stay by Neelix's bedside as Paris and the doctor work on getting the holographic lungs ready. Only Neelix's head is visible, sticking out of the long metal tube over his body and bed.
Okay, the isotropic restraint is activated. He won't be able to move more than 2 microns in any direction.
1 micron would be preferable, but I suppose it'll have to do. Initiating the holographic emitter array.
His cellular toxicity level is rising. 82%, 86%.
Computer, activate program Neelix 1. Deactivate the infuser.
Deactivated. It's offline.
Here we go.
99%? No, 90%. 95%. Oh, no.
The doctor looks concerned, and then suddenly Neelix takes a breath.
Toxicity returning to normal.
Exterior space. Voyager.
Captain's log supplemental. We are pursuing the alien ship from the moon. They are not responding to hails, and it appears that our 2 ships are evenly matched for speed.
Interior sickbay. Kes, Paris, and the doctor are standing over Neelix, who is now awake and talking.
Holographic lungs.
Yes, and they're working perfectly, if I do say so myself. Try to breathe normally.
How long can I live like this?
I don't know. This is an unprecedented medical procedure. We will be closely monitoring your condition.
When do I get out of this restraint?
Unless Captain Janeway is successful in retrieving your lungs, you'll have to stay in the isotropic restraint indefinitely.
Indefinitely? You mean I could be here in the rest of my life?
Yes.
But we're trying to find the aliens that did this to you. The captain is doing everything she can. Well, if I'm going to be in here for a while, now's as good as time to tell you. Your ceiling's hideous.
I didn't design the room. I just work here.
Something with a bit of color would help. Maybe a nice tapestry or a painting. Could you dim the lights a little?
I'm a doctor, Mr. Neelix, not a decorator. Perhaps you would be willing to accommodate his aesthetic needs?
And some music would be nice. Like Primus. Or better yet, are you programmed to sing?
Janeway to Paris. Please report to the bridge.
I'm on my way, Captain. You know where I am if you need me.
Self.
Thanks for everything. Oh, fine. I have a little accident. I lose a pair of lungs, and the next thing I know, Paris is swooping in like a reptilian vulture. What are you talking about? Didn't you hear the way he said that? I'll be on the bridge if you need me. If you need me? Neelix. Why didn't he just pull the plug on the holographic emitter and get it over with? Get me out of the way so he can have you all to himself. Neelix, you're overreacting. Tom's being very supportive.
Okay.
Oh, so it's Tom now, is it? You really have nothing to worry about. We're friends. That's all.
Except Tinder.
It's not you I'm worried about. It's him. He's just one big hormone walking around the ship. Don't you see the way that he looks at you?
That's right.
This is ridiculous. I'm not going to argue with you about something that exists only in your imagination. I know you, Neelix, and I know you're afraid. I just want you to know that no matter what happens, I'll be here with you. Cass, I could be here a very long time. You need to go with your life. Don't worry about me. Neelix. You should just let me die. Stop that. We're not going to get through this together.
Visiting hours are over. He needs rest.
When can I come back?
1,700 hours. Not a minute before.
I'll see you then.
Kes kisses Neelix and leaves. The doctor reaches across Neelix's head, his face coming quite close to Neelix's face.
Don't worry. I'm not going to kiss you. I'm only adjusting the restraint.
I'll try to contain my disappointment.
The doctor rolls his eyes and moves off screen. Cut to interior bridge. Captain Janeway and Commander Chakotay are standing up talking to each other. As Torres calls to the captain from the other side of the bridge, Janeway walks over and takes the alien device that Tuvok is handing over to her.
Captain, we've completed our diagnostic on the alien device. It appears to be more than a weapon. It's also a very sophisticated medical scanner and surgical instrument.
From what we can tell, it uses a neural resonator to stun the victim, while a quantum imaging begins a microcellular analysis of the entire body.
The amount of information this thing can gather puts a tricorder to shame. You fire this at someone, you learn everything about their anatomy, right down to their DNA sequencing. So it sounds like we're dealing with aliens who've developed a technology specifically designed to locate and extract organs from other beings. Why?
Captain.
Janeway puts the device down and walks back to the center of the bridge. Chakotay continues talking.
On screen.
Angle, view screen. We see an image of an asteroid in space. Cut back to bridge interior.
It's entered the asteroid, Captain.
Hold position here. Mr. Kim?
I can't scan the interior. The surface stratum is made up of some sort of neuron something I can't pronounce alloy. It doesn't look like it's a natural formation.
Are you saying someone built this asteroid?
It's possible.
Any signs of weapons or defense systems?
Negative.
I think I've located where the alien ship entered. There's an open crater on the limb of this asteroid.
Let's see it.
Angle, view screen. Paris has enlarged the image of the asteroid, and we see a large crater. Cut back to bridge interior.
The ion trail from the alien ship leads directly inside.
Captain Janeway is considering what she is seeing on the screen and has a look of determination on her face.
How large is that crater?
200 meters in diameter.
Captain, may I suggest you consider carefully what you are about to do?
How do you know what I am about to do?
I could describe to you in detail the psychological observations I have made about you over the past 4 years, which leads me to conclude you are about to take this ship inside the asteroid. But suffices to say, I know you quite well.
One of these days, I'm going to surprise you, Tuvok, but not today. I've already considered the options. If Neelix has any chance of surviving, we have to act fast. Red alert. Mr. Tuvok, maximum shields, phasers at the ready.
Aye, Captain. I'll set a course.
Exterior space. We watch as Voyager enters the crater on the side of the asteroid. Fade out. Fade in, interior bridge. Chakotay is carefully contemplating what he is seeing on the view screen. Paris is working away at the helm. We see the ship carefully navigating the interior of the crater on the view screen. Focus back on bridge interior.
Captain, I'm reducing power to aft thrusters only. This passageway is getting a little too narrow for my taste.
Use your discretion, Mr. Paris. Any sign of the vessel, Lieutenant?
We are still following the ion trail, but electromagnetic interference is limiting our sensor range. I'm only able to scan 500 meters ahead of us.
Are there any indications we're being scanned or probed, Mr. Kim?
Not yet.
Interior sick bay. We focus on some sort of hanging decoration. Looks similar to a mobile that would be hanging over a child's crib. As the camera pans down, we see that the area above and around Neelix's biobed has been decorated with fabric, ornaments, and flowers, and the lights have been dimmed.
Doctor, I require your assistance.
What is it, Mr. Neelix?
Please, it's urgent.
Yes?
I have an itch
An itch.
just above my left eyebrow.
The doctor sighs and begins to scratch Neelix's forehead, the look on his face displaying inconvenience.
A little higher. Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
The doctor walks away from the bed and towards his office.
Doctor, wait, don't leave.
I'm not leaving, Mr. Neelix. I'm simply going back to work.
I can't see you over there. I feel like I'm all alone.
You are alone. I'm a holographic projection. A projection with a lot of work to do, I might add.
That's very amusing, Doctor. But I'm really starting to feel a little trapped in here. A little claustrophobic, maybe. I'm not sure what to do.
There's nothing you can do except lie there and be quiet.
I'm going to lie here for the rest of my life, aren't I? Just staring up at the ceiling? I'm not sure I could take that. I really need to get out of this restraint. Doctor, I want you to let me out of this thing right now.
The doctor, sensing that Neelix is starting to panic, gives up on his work and comes back into the ward, over to Neelix's bedside.
You know, that's impossible.
I'm the patient. I know what my rights are. I want to be released from this restraint immediately. Immediately!
Mr. Neelix, you are alive, you are breathing, and for the moment, your condition is stable. That is more than most people can say in your situation. Now, it is critical to your recovery that you not subject yourself to any additional stress. Try to calm down.
Don't tell me to calm down. You're not the one trapped in a restraining field with hollow lungs. I don't think they're working. I can't get enough oxygen. There's something wrong.
You're hyperventilating. Try to take slow, natural breaths.
I can. I'm dying. Let me out of here. Help me. Help me.
The doctor picks up a hypo spray and uses it to put a panicking Neelix to sleep. We focus on the doctor for a beat, who has a look of concern on his face as he walks along Neelix's bedside. Interior bridge.
You're doing fine, Mr. Paris. Just fine.
Thanks, Captain.
Sensors detect a large chamber ahead.
Cut to the view screen. We watch as Voyager enters a chamber that appears to be full of multiple replicas of the Voyager and the alien ship. Cut back to bridge interior.
What the hell?
We appear to be seeing Voyager and the alien ship reflecting off the walls of the chamber.
Can you determine which ship is the real one?
No, Captain. The walls are emanating severe electromagnetic interference. I cannot scan them directly.
It's like trying to move through a hall of mirrors. You never know when you're going to walk into the glass.
I'm still picking up the alien's ion trail. Maybe we should follow that.
He might have left a fake ion trail to lure us in here. It could lead us right into one of those walls.
That's a chance we're going to have to take. Tuvok, extend the deflectors to maximum range. If we do run into something, it'll give us an extra margin of error. Follow the ion trail, Mr. Paris, slowly. Mr. Kim, continuous scans.
Aye, Captain.
Cut to interior of the chamber. We watch as several versions of Voyager and the alien ship fly through the inside of the asteroid. Cut to interior of sickbay office. The doctor and Kess are looking through the window at an unconscious Neelix in the ward.
I'll do what I can to reassure him, Doctor.
Good. If you don't mind, I'd like you to remain in sickbay so you're here when he wakes up.
Of course. Are you all right?
Me?
You seem agitated about something.
Of course I'm agitated. This entire situation is getting out of control.
You mean Neelix?
The doctor pauses, reflecting on what has him so on edge.
First, they tell me there's no doctor, so I have to be on call 24 hours a day. And then they tell me there are no nurses, so I have to no one to assist me.
I thought Tom Paris was assigned to you.
Like I said, no one to assist me. And now I have a patient with severe and possibly long-term emotional problems, and there's no counselor on board. I am an emergency medical supplement. A supplement, Kess. That's all. I wasn't programmed for any of this. It's unacceptable.
The doctor picks up a pad from his desk and begins working on it, agitated.
I don't know anything about holographic engineering, but if you want my opinion, you haven't been acceptable. You've been remarkable.
I've only done what the program allows me to do.
Give yourself some credit. You saved his life. You did, not some program.
It may seem that way to you.
That's exactly how it seems.
You're very kind.
How does a real doctor learn to deal with patients' emotional problems anyway?
They learn from experience.
Aren't you capable of learning?
I have the capacity to accumulate and process data, yes.
Then I guess you'll just have to learn like the rest of us.
Have you ever considered a career in medicine? Neelix is starting to regain consciousness.
The doctor and Kess exit his office and rush into the ward. Interior engineering. Focus on Ensign Seska as she moves from one panel to another. Lieutenant, I'm picking up a minor power fluctuation in the warp core.
Compensate with a KLS stabilizer.
No effect. In fact, the power loss is starting to accelerate.
Janeway to Torres, what's going on down there? Some kind of power drain. I can't localize it, but we're losing power at the rate of 7% per minute.
Interior bridge. Ensign Kim is busy working at the ops terminal while the panel behind him is blinking and lighting up, showing some kind of power disruption. The overhead lights are flickering.
The power drain is coming from somewhere inside this chamber, Captain. It's some kind of dampening field. It's bleeding energy directly from the warp nacelles.
Bielana, shut down the warp core. Go to emergency power.
Cut to engineering. B'Elanna and Seska are working at a terminal when the lights go out.
No effect, Captain. Keep me informed.
Interior bridge.
Bridge out. Can you pinpoint the source of the dampening field?
It appears to be coming from 217 Mark 015, distance 547 meters.
Tuvok, what would happen if we locked phasers and fired at the source?
The walls of this chamber reflect directed energy. The phaser beam would ricochet along an unpredictable path, possibly impacting our ship in the process.
All right, we won't try that.
Well, maybe we should. Tuvok, what would happen if we reduce the phaser power level to a minimum setting and sent out a continuous beam?
The phaser would continue to reflect off the bulkheads until it encountered a non-reflective material.
Until it encountered a non-reflective material, like a real alien ship?
Or the rock face. This is stupid.
So we could use the phasers like a searchlight. Scan the interior of the station until we find the ship.
Oh, we just said Janeway. Exactly.
Do it.
Cut to exterior shot of Voyager. The phasers start up and fire, causing orange phaser beams to crisscross through the crater. Cut to interior bridge.
Adjusting phaser azimuth to 15 degrees.
Wait a minute. I think I just found a real ship.
On screen.
Cut to view screen. We see the real alien ship directly in front of Voyager. Cut back to bridge interior. The bridge crew is busy working away at their stations.
Mr. Paris, bring us within transporter range of that ship.
Captain.
Picking up 2 life signs.
They are powering engines.
Bridge to transporter room 3. Lock onto those 2 life signs and beam them aboard.
Security. Meet me in transporter room 3.
Tuvok and Janeway enter the turbolift.
Aye, sir.
Interior transporter room 3. Janeway, Tuvok, and 2 security officers enter. Tuvok and the security officers with their phasers drawn. The transport completes, and Janeway looks on in horror. The alien looks like they are constructed from bits and pieces, like Frankenstein's monster.
Oh.
You're on the starship Voyager on Captain Kathryn Janeway of the United Federation of Planets.
I'm Dereth of the Vatian Sodality.
You attacked one of our crew members, and you have lured us into this asteroid. Why?
We are gathering replacement organs and suitable biomatter. It is the only way we have to fight the Phage.
A virus? Some kind of disease?
The second Vidian, Motura, responds. Yes, it attacked our people over 2 millennia ago. It consumes our bodies, destroys our genetic codes and cellular structures.
So you harvest the bodies of other beings to replace your own tissues as they're being consumed by this phage.
Our immunotechnology cannot keep up. The phage adapts. It resists all attempts to destroy it. Our society has been ravaged. Thousands die each day. There is no other way for us to survive.
I have a great sympathy for what your race has endured, but I cannot allow you to keep the organs of you removed from one of our crew members. We need them back immediately.
I'm afraid that isn't possible. I have already biochemically altered the air-breathing organs and grafted them into Motura's body. They are part of him now.
He is my Honata. His task is to find the organs I need for survival. We try to extract them from the dead.
But sometimes, when the need is immediate, more aggressive actions are required.
So now I'm left with the same choice you made. Whether to commit murder to save a life or to allow my own crewman to die while you breathe air through his lungs.
It must be impossible for you to understand how any civilized people could come to this. Before the Phage began, we were known as educators and explorers, a people whose greatest achievements were artistic. I myself am a sculptor of note on my world. All I can say is that when your entire existence is at stake,
You don't have to explain yourself, Motura.
if the consequence of this act is a death sentence, so be it. At least it will put an end to my suffering.
I can't begin to understand what your people have gone through. They may have found a way to ignore the moral implications of what you're doing, but I have no such luxury. I don't have the freedom to kill you to save another. My culture finds that to be a reprehensible and entirely unacceptable act. If we were closer to home, I would lock you up and turn you over to my authorities for trial. But I don't even have that ability here, and I'm not prepared to carry you forever in our brig. So I see no other alternative but to let you go. Take a message to your people. If I ever encounter your kind again, I will do whatever is necessary to protect my people from this harvesting of yours. Any aggressive actions against this ship or its crew will be met by the deadliest force. Is that clear?
Quite.
Wait. I want to see this crewman of yours.
That can serve no useful purpose.
Maybe it can. Our medical technologies may be superior to theirs.
I can tell you from what we've observed of them that they are considerably superior.
She spared my life. Our lives. We owe it to them to see if there's anything we can do to help him.
I'll take you to him.
Janeway, Tuvok, Dereth, and Motura leave the transporter room. Cut to sickbay. Dereth is using his scanner on Neelix as Neelix looks on in surprise.
His simulated organs are primitive. It's amazing he is still alive.
The doctor, annoyed, rolls his eyes and walks away. Dereth points his scanner at Tuvok, who is very quick to draw his phaser.
This is set to scan only.
Proceed. Carefully.
Dereth scans Tuvok, then Kess, Janeway, a security officer, and then the doctor. He looks down at the device and then up at the doctor, raising an eyebrow.
Strange. According to my readings, you are not here.
Believe me, I wish I weren't.
The rest of you are healthy. You are compatible for organ transplant.
Wait a minute. We've already considered this. Talaxian physiology is different from that of anyone else on this ship. His immune system would reject their lungs immediately.
Your surgical knowledge is inferior. We will simply adapt his immunogenicity. It won't be a problem. Which of you will donate a lung? Me.
No, absolutely not. It's too dangerous. Let someone else do it.
No, I want to do it, Neelix. I'm willing to take the risk. Besides, you've done so much for me. Let me give you something this once. Just for once. All right.
Kes moves away from Neelix's bedside as Janeway moves forward to talk to him.
I look forward to sampling your cooking, Mr. Neelix.
You mean I can keep my kitchen?
Well, at least until we get the replicators back online.
Oh, thank you, Captain. And Captain, I'll see you at breakfast.
Janeway ponders this for a minute, nods, and moves away. Fade out. Cut to exterior space. Voyager is out of the asteroid and flying back out into space with the asteroid in the background.
Captain's log supplemental. The aliens have successfully transplanted one of Kes's lungs into Neelix. The dampening field has been deactivated, and I have allowed them to beam back to their vessel. We are resuming a course home.
Interior sickbay. Neelix and Kes are both in blue sickbay gowns sleeping on biobeds. Kes wakes up first. The doctor comes over to her and smiles.
It's all right. The operation was a success. Neelix is asleep and breathing on his own now, with your lung.
I feel a little lightheaded.
That will pass. You'll soon adapt to the diminished lung capacity. I spoke to the captain about you. She's given me permission to begin training you as a medical assistant. You'll be a backup for Mr. Paris, or possibly, God willing, a replacement. That is, assuming you're interested.
Of course, I'm interested. When do we start?
We'll begin your lessons as soon as you're fully recovered.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. You've given me a lot to think about.
The doctor, pleased that he's found a possible suitable replacement for Paris, heads into his office. Kes looks over at his still sleeping Neelix and smiles. Cut to exterior space. Voyager flies across the screen, back on course for the Alpha Quadrant. The end.
And that's a wrap. And scene, everybody. Okay. That is the end of our performance. I'm just going to come back here on screen, and I am going to remove our little graphic there. And we're going to bring in our performers. Introducing myself first. My name's Dave, as I introduced earlier, and I played 4 different characters in the show. But first and foremost, I want to introduce the star of this particular episode, which was Captain Janeway, played by my wife Jane. So first, bringing in. That's not Jane. That's wrong. That's the wrong button. Okay, here we go. Hey guys, I was doing a lot, but
Yeah, I don't know if it was the star. I think a couple of slow talkers were the star of this show.
Yeah, and we also had Ashley Millard as the voice of the narrator, and Seska and Motura. I forgot that Jane, you were also B'Elanna Torres in this as well. And also bringing in Jody Simpson, who was playing the part of Chakotay and Harry Kim. Wow, I gotta say about that. I'm just gonna hide. I know you're just a graphic, Jody, so I'm going to.
I am just a graphic today.
So I'm gonna bring in Jeff, who was playing the part of the Doctor and Tuvok in this episode. Was supposed to play a couple other roles, but he listed those lines, so I filled in for him.
Yeah, I missed the computer because I was speaking and I didn't think it was me.
Yeah, it's all right. We cover each other here. So hey, how do you guys like that?
I just have one question.
Yeah.
Were you channeling Mr. Burns on drugs while you were playing Kes?
No, my version of.
I think it's the Ghost of Christmas Future from Scrooged.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
It was okay. Do you know the episode of TNG where Barclay has the holodeck program and he has a version of Troy and she's called the Goddess of Empathy?
Yeah.
That's who I was channeling for Kes. I was like,
I'm still gonna go with Mr. Burns after radiation therapy.
Yeah, and then I know
The
Tom
X-Files,
Paris.
The X-Files episode. Remember that?
Yes. And I know Tom Paris is not a Southern character, but he's just so much more delicious as
I was wondering when he was going to be like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
He wasn't Clark Gable.
Well, he does not give a damn to be in that sick bay, and the doctor just loves ripping him a new asshole throughout the whole episode. I love it.
Okay, and hey, we got some comments here. First and foremost, Kevin's mom. Oh my God, those touching.
You're not supposed to say it's Kevin's mom.
Oh right, anonymous fan.
Phyllis Millard.
Just found us organically on social media. Oh my God, those touching, tender scenes in sickbay between Neelix and Kes had me in tears. Did you like those? The scenes between. Thank you for the comment, Phyllis.
I was smiling.
So as you all know, I didn't watch this episode before we did it. I now remember this episode, and I remember that I didn't enjoy it, and you guys have made me enjoy it. So that was nice. Thank you.
I want to go to the ship that has this version of the characters on it.
my Harry Kim wasn't very consistent, but I was trying to go for a whiny Harry Kim.
Who do you think that was?
I heard it.
Like
you heard Kim.
He asked to direct a movie, and they said no, like that kind of whiny Kim.
Right. No, I liked your Harry Kim. Your Harry Kim was amazing. It was fun. Whiny and high pitched and kind of nerdy or whatever.
Did we lose somebody? Because I only got a black bar on one.
Well, Ashley's screen has gone black. I'm not sure why. Ashley?
We may have lost him.
Ashley.
I don't know.
Gone. Could be a power.
What did Kevin think about? Well, he's not on right now, I guess, but we'll have to get Kevin's opinion on. I heard him chuckling in the back, and
question: who do you think I was channeling for Neelix?
I don't know.
It wasn't obvious. Was the Primus reference?
Oh, was that supposed to be Chris Seymour?
You didn't think it was?
No, there wasn't enough goofiness in it.
Oh,
what do you mean? What do you mean?
Chris Seymour. He's like, hey, I'm Neelix. Hey, I got no bugs. What's going on?
That's kind of what I tried to do. But...
Oh, okay.
Not a favorite episode of Phyllis, but I hope you liked this version of it. Now, in terms of how we picked this episode, we just did a spin wheel, and it kind of we kind of like that because it gives us these episodes maybe that we wouldn't have picked otherwise, but perhaps our
spin wheel on this.
We're going to be doing a spin wheel after we go off the air tonight. Also,
the audience won't know.
The audience we'll announce it afterwards. What episode it is. It's just too hard to do while we're on, but with everybody we have coming in, and I'm excited to say that we have a few more people joining our company. We got Michael Chan, and we have Nightingale Nguyen, and we have Michael here on standby. I'm going to who am I going to hide?
Get rid of me.
You can get rid of me.
Get rid of me.
Hide. Okay, Michael's here on standby. So
I'm only a card anyway.
He's doing the countdown. So hello everyone. This is Michael.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Great show. That was amazing.
You enjoyed that?
Yeah, great show. I was laughing quite a bit at all the voices. You guys are phenomenal.
It'll even be better when you join.
We're so glad to have you on board. And so Jaemeel is a mutual friend of ours. So he had mentioned
Jaemeel.
So you had caught wind of what we were doing here on Star Trek Radio Theater, which and I said, hey, we're just having fun and we're all amateurs and this is just, us goofing off. But we're so glad to have you both. Nightingale was on earlier. She kind of showed up before the show, so we kind of met her. Oh, there she is. She just joined. So hold on.
Get rid of me.
I'm going to hide. All right, let's bring in Nightingale as well. Hey, introducing Michael and Nightingale. Hey there.
Hi.
We're welcome aboard.
Podcast. I like the wave.
Yeah.
So you have your own podcast called Talking with Your Mouths Full.
Talking with Our Mouths Full, yes.
Yeah.
I was checking that out last night, listening to the episode. And it's Toronto-based podcast based on food and culture, I believe.
Yep, just trying to showcase Toronto's diversity to the world via its food and its people. So we interview people and we introduce you guys to places to eat every episode.
Well, that's great.
Cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. We're all gonna be checking that out, and yeah, like we said, super excited. So, as we said, we're gonna be kind of going off the air here and kind of figuring out what the next episode is. Who's gonna?
I can't wait to find out.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
So exciting.
Yeah, this is really awesome, and we're so glad to have some extra talent here in our pool. Oh, and there's Ashley. It looks like I wonder if they did have a power
Their
outage.
internet went down.
Yeah, it's been bad today for internet.
Well,
It's probably the
yeah,
heat and
Did you? There was a.
I can
There
hear
was a
you, but
big
none of
storm
them
here.
can.
Yeah, they're not back, Dave.
They are back, but I can only have so many people in here at once. So
Oh, right. Yeah. Fair enough.
yeah. So that's part of the problem. But you can have up to 6 on voice at once. So
Well, like, so are you guys like fans of Star Trek? Like every series, like, would you guys like be game for like an Enterprise episode or like anything like?
I am game for anything. TNG is my favorite. I love Enterprise. I am also a fan of the newer series, Discovery, especially since I have a bunch of friends on there. So,
Yep.
it's I'm up for anything though, like anything at all.
Oh, awesome! We have a friend that we curl with. He knows someone who's doing makeup on Discovery, so he was good friends with. And me and my brother also do a DS9 recap show on Tuesdays, and we're making a 3.5-year journey to podcast once a week on every episode of Deep Space Nine. We're on what are we on right now, Dave? We're
like 13 episodes or 14 episodes in now.
Yeah,
so.
we're trucking through.
It's early. It's early days. It's early days.
It's early days. So if you guys ever want to come on and recap a DS9 episode, you're more than welcome. We will shoot you a message, and if you're ever free, Jaemeel comes on pretty much every week. So and I know you're friends with him, and so if you guys want to come on, it would be great.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Welcome again. And Nightingale, we didn't get to your Star Trek fandom.
I've been watching it when I was a kid, so I don't fully remember because I haven't rewatched everything. But all I know is that I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed like finding all the VHSs, but when they're in the public library and everything. And I still didn't understand when I was a kid because I didn't understand English, but like I just enjoyed watching it. So.
Yeah, no, great. And so it's all different levels here, and we don't all like the same stuff. Some of us hate Voyager, for instance, or some of us hate Enterprise. Most of us hate Enterprise. Yeah. So it's so you'll see that we're selective. We're pretty selective in some ways.
We do love Star Trek.
Yes. Okay.
I will probably discover what I like once I get into this and rediscover why I like Star Trek so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, a great way to like for me, my favorite is Deep Space Nine, and like I love all of them, but Deep Space Nine for me is the one that had the most freedom as a show, and that's why I really like it the most. It's kind of like Discovery, kind of where it has that serialized version of Star Trek, whereas everything, a lot in TNG and TOS is very episodic. So I feel like like Deep Space Nine is a good one to either start on or do last, because it depends what you like in a TV show for sure, and that's what's so great about Star Trek is it jumps around.
Yeah. So again, welcome. You'll be part of next week, and we'll put out the card after this show. Probably somewhere in the coming days with who's playing who and what episode we're doing and all that. So check that out. Again, welcome, Michael. Welcome. Stay on the line because we're gonna have a big conference call after this.
Yes, of course.
And did you like our episode tonight?
Yes.
Absolutely loved it.
Great. Okay, we'll break that all down after. All right. Well. Thanks everyone for joining us. Okay, I'm just gonna take you guys out of here for a minute and bring in Jody and everybody here again. Jane, I'm just gonna leave you off for the moment. Hello, and welcome. So and Jane, who's with me over here. Here's her head. So she's here with me. Thanks so much to tonight's performers. I'm excited for the next one. I'm excited we have a few more people to take on some voices and do some fun stuff. And let us know if you have any comments, suggestions, whatever. If you want to, get involved, let us know. Great. Any final comments?
Nope.
No, I think we got it.
Okay, everyone. Live long on podcast, and we'll check you. We'll see you probably Tuesday for Deep Space Nine. Cheers.